The forest held its breath, cloaked in an eerie hush. Sunlight slashed through the treetops, but the air below was thick, stifling. Tied to an ancient gnarled tree, Ranger Daniel fought against ropes that clawed into his wrists. His ripped uniform and mud-crusted boots screamed of betrayal. Ambushed at dawn by ruthless loggers who despised his vigilance, he was their prey. Left bound like a trophy, he was a warning to anyone daring to defy them. For hours, Daniel thrashed until pain melted into numbness. His shouts dwindled to a hoarse whisper, met only by the hum of relentless insects. Eyes shut, despair slithered into his heart. If no one came, the ropes might claim him before the stars emerged. Then a faint sound stirred, soft at first, then sharp. A bark. Daniel's eyes snapped open. From the ferns, a figure slipped into view. A dog, ribs stark under scruffy fur, eyes sharp with wary intelligence. A stray. The kind that survived on scraps from villages at the forest's edge, dodging stones hurled by cruel hands. The dog paced a few feet off, ears twitching, alert. Daniel's pulse raced. "Come here," he croaked, voice barely a whisper. The dog tilted its head, intrigued by the broken sound. With hesitant steps, it edged closer, sniffing the air thick with sweat and rope. Daniel strained forward, ropes biting deeper. "Help me, please." He knew the animal couldn't grasp his words, but desperation turned his plea into a prayer to a friend. The dog circled him once, then twice. Then it stopped, nose brushing the rough ropes. With sudden fire, it began to chew. Daniel froze, heart pounding with disbelief. Teeth tore at the fibers, pulling strands free. Each snap of rope sparked hope, shattering hours of darkness. At one point, the dog paused, panting, tongue hanging loose. Daniel's breath caught. Would it abandon him? Instead, it let out a fierce, urgent bark, echoing through the forest like a battle cry. That bark soared farther than Daniel's voice ever could. Somewhere, a bird exploded into flight. Somewhere, maybe another ranger would hear. But the stray didn't wait for rescue. It dove back to the ropes, biting, twisting, relentless. Daniel gritted his teeth, urging his numb fingers to push against the loosening cords. Then, freedom. The final knot broke. His arms collapsed, free at last. He gasped, clutching his raw wrists. The dog stepped back, tail low, uncertain. Slowly, Daniel knelt, eyes locked on his savior. "You saved me," he whispered, voice trembling. His shaking hand reached out. The dog flinched but held its ground. At last, its head nudged his palm, warm, alive, trusting. Together, they staggered through the tangled undergrowth. Daniel's legs wobbled, but the stray trotted ahead, glancing back as if leading the way. By dusk, they reached the ranger outpost. Comrades rushed to him, stunned by his battered state. He spilled the story, but his voice burned brightest when he spoke of the dog's courage, not the logger's cruelty. In the days that followed, the stray lingered near the outpost. Daniel offered food, water, and patience, earning trust where suspicion once ruled. The nameless wanderer became his shadow, a fierce guardian of the forest. Danger still lurked. Men with saws and greed would return. But Daniel knew he wasn't alone anymore. In the forest's shadows moved a dog who, against every instinct to flee, had answered a desperate man's call. A bond was born, not from ownership, but from salvation. A ranger saved by a stray, and a stray who found home not in walls, but in loyalty freely given. For those who heard their tale, the truth was undeniable. Kindness knows no lineage, and salvation often comes from the most unexpected soul.